I'll give you an example. This position I'm hiring for right now, I had 3 different people contact me about, oh, you really need to interview so-and-so. 2 of those people did get interviews because they were highly qualified. They met all the criteria that we had. Unfortunately, one of them I'm pretty sure is not going to get the job. But I try very hard not to let that influence me. I actually had someone this time send me their resume by email. I'm still not sure how she got my email. It's a real tricky situation. I would not advise doing it because how I felt when I got that email was this person's trying to manipulate me. And I am one of 4 on a panel interviewing. I would advise not to. I'm very interested to hear how the rest of you feel about that, but I would advise against doing it.
Well, just as an aside, to prepare for this panel, because I actually have never been in the position of hiring someone. I've recommended lots of people, and I've written job descriptions. Then I used to work in a personnel office. So I kind of put it out to my personal network and said, give me your best tips and tricks for finding a job. And almost everybody that responded said, you need to let everyone that you know that you are looking for a job and be really clear about what sort of job that you're looking for. So I agree with Lorrie. It's sort of a fine line with being professional and respectful and using your personal network in the right way, or being somebody that is sort of taking advantage of that and not using it in a way that's really sort of supports them as being a professional person. So yeah, I would say tell everybody you know, and make sure that your anything you have that represents yourself out there is really matches with the professional persona that you want people to see. And use your personal networks. A lot of times principals will have to hire somebody like 2 days before school starts. That happened to me. I left a job at a public library that was part-time because I was offered, like 3 days before school started, a full-time job with benefits. So it was easy to make that decision. And that is not out of the ordinary. So it was because somebody knew my principal, and he said, I need somebody good, like now. And so it was great for him to have just some names tucked away.
So I would echo, work your network, but think about how you're working it. I'm in a little bit different spot because I go out and I recruit. I go to UNC on trips. I go all across the country and go on trips. So I expect people to contact me and say, oh, I'm interested in this job. What more can you tell me? And I'll figure out what I can talk to you about and what I can't. I don't mind those calls or emails too much. It can get a little dicey when people kind of go outside of so you've got your LinkedIn first circle and then you've got your next circle out. And if those people are on the search committee, it gets a little iffy when we have candidates contacting the search committee saying, oh, you're friends with so-and-so and you're on the search committee. That's going too far. So think about the position that you're putting people in when you reach out to them. I think the safe bet is, call me because I'm totally fine with that. But I will say, think before you call. And I know this is not really getting at your question, but it's something that happens a lot. There is that standing job advice of follow up, hound them. And that can kind of, and I think people, new grads hear that from their parents maybe. I don't think that resonates as much now. And also it's sometimes really hard to come across as just positive and interested on the phone and not, annoying and why is it taking you so long to look through the applications. We take a long time. We pride ourselves on moving quickly and always say we're going to move as fast as we can, but sometimes it takes a while. And so when somebody calls and says, I applied 3 months ago, I want to know the status. And you may not think that's what you're sounding like, but sometimes it does. So just think before you call, but you can call.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to add except that it's I mean, really, truly is a small community of people, and people know each other. And special collections is even a smaller subset. So, I mean, people know, we know a lot of the same people. And I would just say that I think it may operate the same elsewhere, but our personnel office is really good about being kind of the filter,
Yeah.
and is very encouraging when those types of emails and phone calls that come in is to funnel. I try to divorce myself of the situation totally and just funnel things through that, because it can get, I don't know if somebody used the word icky. It
Yeah.
can get a little bit like that. And so just there are lots of different people involved in hiring situations in most places, especially in the academic library. It's a committee in the personnel office and the university librarian. There's lots of different things to go through. So we try to be as above board as possible. And that's not, I mean, I've been contacted several times. It's like, oh, what can you tell me about this job? I'm like, well, the job ad's on the computer, on the website. You can go take a look at it. But that being said, I mean, as I said, as a small community, everything else that you do, even if what you did was not in line for that job, people remember and know you when those applications come in. So, just always put your best foot forward, that's what I would say.